What is going on, guys? It is time to go over Edwin, but I'm not going to be calling this man Edwin. This is not Edwin. This is Eddie Baby. And if I can see that in the comments, hashtag it's Eddie Baby, because this man is, look at this dapper fellow. Look at his dapper. You see, first he comes in with the black and the purple. My man with the I don't even know if these are boots. I guess these are thigh-high boots. Of course, right? And then he goes back into the store. He's like, yo, I know this stuff was on sale, but I don't buy stuff on sale. I like to pay full price. So then he gets the boots, he sells them back, and he gets it with the more purple flare. Oh, you see the Oh, and then he gets the gloves with the red glow on it. You know the boy got a style. You know he got to do it. Then he gets the hat. You see the boy styling out here. You see a style. And then he go, boom. He said, you know what? Yo, the purple's out of season. The purple out of season for the boy. So I'm going to go get this black, red, and gray. Okay. You see, and he got the hair color. You didn't even notice the hair color. You didn't notice the hair color. First the man went black. Then he went whatever the hell color that is. That's probably gray. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go blonde. I'm going to show the blonde boys how it's done. Yamaha, Yoshi. I'm having too much fun. And then, of course, you know, he got to go with the white, red, and black. Ooh, he said, let me put on some regular ass boots. Okay? Got the little gauntlet. My man styling and profile. It's Eddie, baby. Yeah. First and foremost, this character is amongst one of the crazier and a little bit harder characters to explain because of how his passive works. And then they gave him a third passive that's even more complex and complicated. So I'm going to go over the skills first, and then I'm actually going to show you a demonstration of how his passive works, because I think it's a little bit easier to see it in game than to just purely discuss it. I think certain skills or certain character kits are easy to just discuss, and then I show a demonstration later. But Edwin is a little bit weird. Now first, you can see the S1 is, it hits 2 targets, has a 40% chance to put a verdict signet. Then as you can see, it gets higher, the chance to get it, and then at level 6 it will get some penetration damage. You will actually see why leveling up his S1 might be really good. He's pretty much just like Isabel. He's a character where if you 666 him, it's great, but as you're building him up slow, it's going to be a little bit of a rough time, because now you have the S2. Do you want to level this one up? Because this one is a single target hit, a single target S2 nuke. S2 nukes usually start out at 200%. It increases his attack and crit chance for 1 turn, and then you can see what happens. You go turn 3, level 3, and then you see that now it's 2 turns, and each level is bringing up the attack that he gets and the crit chance that he gets, and of course the damage. So, and then eventually ignore defense on this bad sucker. So now you gotta ignore defense, giving yourself a 50% crit chance buff and giving yourself a 50% attack buff. That's really hard to like leave that on the table if you were to have, because guys, we're talking about if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 Edwins, where you're putting it first. Yeah, it's going right here. Unless we go to the S3. Now the S3 is just an AoE alt that has penetration. Ain't no shields stopping me, baby. And then 50% chance to decrease target's recovery amount by 100%, so he will block the healing. So as you can see, nothing really spectacular here. 2 turns, goes 3 turns here, and then nothing. So 80% chance, doesn't even go to 100% chance, so it's okay. Obviously him being an AoE attacker does help him in time space void. It does help him just, you know, hit every target. And when we go through his passive, is also going to see why it helps him, because he's actually a little quirky fella, but I'm gonna have to go with, you guys tell me, but I'm thinking I'm going with S2, S1, then S3 if you were to ask me, and I think you are, because you're watching my guide. So let's go through the passives, and then I'm going to try to give you guys some in-game like demonstration of what I'm talking about, because it's just weird. Now it's mainly about this verdict signet. Now on the start of his turn, he will put 1 verdict signet on 2 separate enemies for 2 turns. Now inflicts 30% additional damage and activates special effects based on the type when attacking a target imprinted with a verdict signet. I'm gonna say signet, even though it's probably signet. Whatever. All right. So if the enemy is an attack type that enemy will go melancholy for 2 turns. Melancholy? It will make sure that their buffs don't work. AKA, if they have protection, you can still hit them. AKA, if they have damage absorption, they'll still take full damage. AKA, if they have Veil of Phantasm, I think they still evade. It's really weird. It's just really weird how Melancholy works. We haven't found out yet, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if it's a defense type, his attack will ignore defense on that target. If it is a support type, he will silence them for 1 turn. And most importantly, and what makes it so broken, is if it is a hybrid, he will decrease his cooldowns by 1 turn. So let's say you have a whole team full of hybrids and you hit, and they all have verdict signets, and you hit this theoretically should go down for each individual target that it goes on. That is how it is worded. That is how it works. We're going to put that to test. Now, I haven't done a test in a long time, and if you guys don't know, one of my favorite things to do is test weird quirky stuff in this game, but some characters are just, you don't really need to do that because it's like, well, that's just what they do. Read and weep. Now you have the second passive, which is removes 1 buff from an enemy affected by verdict signet at the start of the turn. So he's putting 2 on his turn. He also has the S1 to make 2 additional targets have it. Also, you're obviously, when you're S1ing, you want to target the enemy that has it and then hope you hit another one. Yeah, you know, pretty much, yeah. So they're gonna lose a buff because as long as you keep spreading the verdict signet, you're only gonna be taking 1 buff. So it's not like super reliable buff removal, but it is like Ruby. It is a buff removal that is not triggered through attacking. So those are really good when you want to kill something or you want to take something off and then hit it, but it's kind of sucky. So it's really good. It's a really good passive. Now also, you have a 70% chance to obtain 1 barrier signets when attacking. So this is, let me finish it, right? Consumes 3 of them to nullify damage taken when attacked. Obtains 3 barriers at the start of the wave. Barrier signets at the start of the wave. So this is where I would say the S1 will probably be what you want to have as your second level up after leveling this up, is because you kind of want to do some multi-striking, counter-attacking kind of thing, because the more times you're attacking, well, guess what, fella? You're going to be getting more chances, rolling a 70% chance dice to get more of the barriers. Once you get 3, you'll see them, and then boom, you will not be taking damage the next time you are attacked. So that is why he's really weird. He's so weird because like you want him to constantly keep attacking, so he just like keeps spreading his verdict cooties all over the place, and then once he has 3, he doesn't have to worry about being attacked. Now obviously it's not as good as having like what Ashley has, which is like he attacks them back, gets Veil of Phantasm, which almost guarantees him not taking damage, and it can be triggered almost every turn. But then we're gonna go boop, Proclamation of Despair, 85% chance to change all enemies' HP to that of the lowest enemy, excluding bosses. Obviously it would be broken at the start of the turn. So his turn comes, there's an 85% chance that the lowest HP fella in there. So this is what I was saying when I was talking about him, I think when he was revealed, is that resolves, characters with resolves, this is gonna destroy the entire team in PvP. Obviously he's mostly geared towards PvP. It also will help in terms of any dungeon that has minions. It will help that with that as well. But this really screws over resolve a lot. It really destroys any resolve based character because they're gonna go in there, they're gonna be left with 1 HP. Edwin gets a turn and 85% chance that everyone now has 1 HP. That's nuts. That is crazy. But this is his awakening passive, so you're not gonna see this that often because everyone's pretty much going with Electra, Ruby, Ashley. But when you do start seeing it, I'm pretty sure everybody will start crying, where their team just randomly, every time his turn comes, remember you can manipulate that with Karen, and I think that's pretty much the only character I could think of that pretty much gives another character a free turn. But you know, that's insane. Also Rue, you know, you could he can be dead and then Rue can ult him, S3 him, comes back and then lowers everyone HP, then he kills you off with the S3 because everyone's like very low. Really cool stuff, right? Now last but not least, let's talk about obtains 3 barrier signets when the caster is counter attacked. The way that this is worded, it's worded and it's gonna work in 2 ways. I cannot confirm this. I looked everywhere for confirmation station. I really tried, guys, but from my understanding, obtains 3 barrier signets when the caster is counterattacked. That means he attacks, they try to hit him back, and he will get 3 barrier signets, and that attack will then do no damage. right? Now, what I wish upon a star is that he can get more than just 3. Now, there is nothing here that says he gets a max. He has a max cap of berry siggets, but I'm pretty sure it maxes out at 3. That's just usually how it works. Now, like I said, I'm gonna try to test. These are things that I need to test. We're gonna test out this passive, right? And we're also gonna test if he can have more than 3 berry siggets. All right, finally, I was trying to find a perfect stage to showcase this. So these are all hybrids. I was like, I need a stage where I could just find a bunch of hybrids. So I'm gonna give him a turn. So now obviously there are 2 with the verdict sigget. This thing is gonna go on a 6-turn cooldown. So technically it should be 4 turns because we're gonna hit 2 of them. Attack of words! And then he hit him also again there, right? When he counterattacked. All right, so that was correct. So he did an AoE hit 2 of them, right? Then he counterattacked, hit another one. Now this is on a 3-turn cooldown. Now, the reason why this is important is because you want to be spamming this, obviously, the S2. You want to spam that as much as it's a 3-turn cooldown. And remember, his passive works on all his cooldowns. So especially if they're hybrids is where he shines the most. So now the next thing I want to test is the berry siggets. All right, here we go again. We're at +3. Let's see what we got. And see, it says berry signet. So okay, I got my proof. So it is at max 3. The only reason why some people are like, duh, it's at max 3. It said, I feel like it said it before, but I feel like they took that text away. All right, we're back in the place to be. Let's just quickly go over his base stats. As you can see, and I've said it, I'll just say it again. Every SSR attacker has the same base stats outside of one thing, which is the attack speed. And you can see here, if you just minus that 10, he starts at 549. Not the craziest, but not the worst. Obviously, you know, he's not low 50s. He's right about in the middle. You could have him go first, which would obviously be really good, so he can get his berry siggets and things of that nature. So if we go over to the runes, always ignore mine because I was just testing something out, obviously. I'm not 100% sold on the actual rune of agility. It is a nice thing to have. As you can see, he has a decent amount of attack speed. He can kind of go first if you really want him to. It just doesn't seem like it's the greatest thing in the world to put on him, but it's still pretty good. I do think multi-strike is a really good one, just because that gives him on his turn 2 barrier signets. If it works out, you know, if the 70% chance roll in your favor, that is at least 2 barrier siggets. You could reasonably say Rune of Destruction, but I would only say that when your S2 is near max. Remember, his S2 near max, you know, this is 40, 45, 50 when you get up to this part, and that's at level 5, and then of course it still stays 50, but it's 2 turns, so it becomes 2 turns at level 3. So he pretty much, even at level 3, 40% attack and 40% crit chance, he reasonably has a decent amount of uptime. It's going to be 3 turns all, and as you know, if there is at least one hybrid, he's gonna get this S2 off cooldown very quickly. So I do think crit damage is a really good tech on him. It's probably the best, if I'm being honest, because he has a really easy way of getting crit chance for free. Then of course you can hero talent crit chance as well. So I really think that crit damage, the Rune of Destruction, might be his best set. You can always play it safe and go with Rune of Rage. Never ever be afraid to put the rage set on an attacker. Revenge, as I did mention, I do think that him being multi and countering is a good thing, but obviously you can get a little bit more if you just kind of focus the substats on it. Now the Rune of Assault is 5% crit chance. Now again, it's going to be the same thing I'm saying here. The 1, 2, and I think the 3 slot, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, I'm like trying to guess where these slots are, where I can just go into the transform list and it tells you everything, right? So the 1, 2, and then the 6 slot is crit chance. You could probably get more crit chance there than running the set, and then you can run something that you actually want in comparison. And like I said, counterattack, 3, 4, 5. Now, one thing that I also would like to mention, and it's just not like something you really want to go to, but evasion's not that bad either. Remember, the barrier siggets only nullify damage taken, so he can actually kind of just dodge it. He doesn't, you know, it's only when he actually takes the hit. You would need a lot of evasion to like warrant that, so maybe, you know, just pairing him with someone like that gives out a Veil of Phantasm, but that, you know, that I guess that's more about team comps and stuff like that. But if you have evasion on your substats, I wouldn't worry too bad about it. It's not like the worst thing in the world. Just embrace it. Embrace your evasion. Eddie, baby, he can evade too, baby. Don't worry about it, baby. Next up is going to be the lovely hero talent, and as you can see, attack, come on. Come on. Now he is, in my opinion, more of an arena character, though he does have some usage in certain dungeons that you can use him in. But I'm gonna pretty much put my money in the fact that you're gonna use him more as an arena character. You could maybe talk about this. Yeah, no, you can't. Yeah, just arena or boss, and I would say arena most likely. Defense is usually gonna be the thing here. I do say that, hey, if a multi-tacker, you could put a bird. And right now, honestly, I almost feel like re-upping a lot of my other guys is that burn seems to be synergizing with a lot of characters, so him getting burn would actually help out the team, especially if you're running Electra in there, especially if you're running a lot of these other fire attackers that synergize when there's a fire buff on the target, like Natsu, Roy, Meryl, and many more that I don't feel like thinking about. It's not the worst thing in the world. If you want to skimp on defense, if you're believing in your multi and counter attack that you're gonna always get the Barrier Signet, you say, oh, I don't need defense, I'm always gonna have that Barrier Signet up. And especially, you know, once I get my third awakening passive, I'll never need this ever again. So maybe you can opt for that. Now again, lowering the damage that you do take or taking the extreme risk for extra additional attack, I think that this is kind of pointless for him because he has a way and a mechanic to get his S2 constantly, you know, back up, so he doesn't need to risk getting attacked to get this. So I would just go with one of these, of course focusing more on arena. But wait, there's more. Crit chance versus crit damage. Again, he does have a reasonable amount of crit damage. Maybe you would just leave this on here because he has a crit chance buff that he can give himself. You leave it on crit damage and kind of rock it out with your sub stats and your rune sets. But if you want to like just make him crit more often and just combine this with your actual crit chance buff plus this, which would be 15, which is bringing you up to 65 at the max level of the S2, that's 65% crit just for him just standing there and having that buff. That's actually not that bad if you're really gonna be, you know, be serious about it. Also, we do have to think about Ruby, you know, and other characters of the like kind of stripping the buff from us, like Tarkus can strip the buff from us and things of that nature. So our crit chance buff can be stripped. So then, you know, you'll have no crit chance whatsoever. So this is not that bad of a tech either. It's more about what you know, how you think your character is going to function. Me personally, I'll be going with the crit strike damage because there's not that much buff stripping in the game besides, like I said, Ruby, Morrigan, Tarkus. Most people aren't like trying to strip buffs, and neither is the AI. They're not like targeting Edwin to strip the buff. So, you know, whatever. And you're going to just put it right back up anyway. So, right? So crit strike damage. And then of course the level 60 passive. So what do you guys think about our dapper fella here? It's Eddie, baby. He's in the building. He's ready to go. I really liked his design when I first saw him. He was, I think, one of the first light attackers. I'm pretty sure he was like one of the first light attackers in the game. And I just think that, you know, his whole design is just really cool. He's like really cocky, he's very arrogant sounding and things of that nature. And the game was kind of missing that. And I think when he first came out, which he came out with Jacqueline and, you know, and Amon. He came out with Amon, Jacqueline, and then himself. And it was like, you know, no one was like sadistic like that. No one was crazy like that. So I really think that this was definitely, you know, a really much needed character, and I'm happy that he got an awakening. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys are happy about, or what you think about this character, what build you're running on him. Enlighten me if his third passive works differently, but I couldn't find a video nor a Reddit post on anyone that's built this guy out. So maybe that will be a video later in the future once we all catch up to having every single awakened character. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.